Torah guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah nation.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Yasharal and YAHUAH, grafted in Gentiles into the body of a Mashiach. Listen, we in the push. Listen, you better get in. You better receive the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. You better get in, because, you know, wickedness is increasing. We're listening to Hezekiah featuring Mikael. Song is entitled Woman in Travail, and I don't own the rights to this music. We the people of book broadcast is going down on this Shabbat. You know we do this. We do this every Shabbat, and we cry out and spare not. We lift up our voice like a trumpet in Zion. We warn the people of Yahuwah. We tell you that you got to be born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh. We warn the people of Yahuwah. You better get in this witness. You better get established in this truth. Because wickedness is increasing. Wickedness is coming to the full. Yahuwah is ready to execute judgment. Oh, people of Yahuwah, hear the word of Yahuwah. Yahuwah, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, I pray right now that you take the reins of my lips and the reins of my tongue and reign. YAHUAH, I pray in the name of Yahushua Mashiach that I would not cause anyone to stumble, anyone to be turned out of the way, to anyone to come up lame. Yahuwah, I pray that by your Ruach HaKodesh of truth, you would from my belly allow rivers of living water to flow. YAHUAH, that the word of truth would come forth. YAHUAH, I'm praying in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach that those that have an ear to hear would hear your word and receive your witness, would receive your Torah, your Besorah of truth, that upon receiving it, they would believe it, and upon believing it, they would not stagger at your promises. Realizing that you have appointed us who have received the witness to the receiving of the kingdom. Eternal life, you have tabernacles prepared. YAHUAH, I pray in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, your people will receive this. Those amongst the other nations, that they would receive. Those that are of Yahweh and YAHUAH would receive. YAHUAH, I'm praying in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Yahushua, my strength and my redeemer. And listen, push. We pushing. Listen. This is getting real, y'all. Listen, make no mistake about it. This is getting real. Yahuwah is revealing Yeshua. It's getting real. Man, if y'all, one of y'all listen, this is real. This is real. You have to receive the witness. You have to be established in this witness. You have to receive Yahushua's Besorah and the Torah of truth. This is the Shabbat. Hallelujah. And you know I love the Shabbat. I love Yahuwah's Shabbat. I worship Yahuwah on his Shabbat. I magnify Yahuwah on his Shabbat. I praise Yahuwah on his Shabbat. Right? Because he's giving it to Yaakov. He's giving it to Yaakov. Right? He's giving it to Yaakov. Right? Now listen. That doesn't mean he doesn't love those that he has chosen from the other nations. But he's giving it to Yaakov. Right? Doesn't mean that he doesn't have Yeshua for the other nations. No. He's giving it to Yaakov, though. Right? Yahuwah has done everything that we need in order to position us to receive this Yeshua. Right? We have a history with Yahuwah. people of Israel. I mean, the other nations have a history too, but you know, we got a history with Yahuwah. We have a ancestral contract that we broke, right? We were people that Yahuwah had chosen, but because we failed, we became robbed and spoiled, right? Right? We became a people who were in Mitzrayim again, right? Which is robbed and spoiled, right? Listen. Yahuwah delivered us from Mitzrayim with the mighty hand, right? Delivered us from the house of bondage, right? He delivered us from the dominion of the Els of Mitzrayim. He destroyed Pharaoh and Pharaoh's Els, right? He was YAHUAH. See, he said, you don't call me no more Elohim. I'm not just amongst the other gods. Tell my people, my name is YAHUAH. YAHUAH. YHWH. Right? Tell my people, my name is YAHUAH. Right? And I'm going to demonstrate to them that I am the one true and living El. And all of the Els that they have known are inferior to me. He destroyed them in the midst of Pharaoh. Now listen. Egypt brought our people under the dominion of these other Els. They introduced this idolatry, and by bondage and captivity urged the commitment and devotion to this El. You said they my people. It's cold. They're my people. They're not yours. You can take the Els and give them to your people, but not my people. So you came and delivered his people who were under the oppression of the Els, these other nations, and the leadership of these Els of the other nations, right? You were delivered. They left out of Mitzrayim, a mixed multitude. Left out of Mitzrayim, an army, numbers, astronomical. Left Mitzrayim. You were delivered. Pharaoh wanted to get his people back, and you would destroy them in the Red Sea. Him and his enemy, his army that was in pursuit of the nation. Yahuwah is a mighty allure, right? But yet our people, right? The people, they rose up and went whoring after other else. You were told Moshe was going to do it. You were told Moshe, he said, listen. He said, to Moshe, he said, said 16. Deuteronomy 31:16. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, thou shalt sleep with your fathers. Right? And this people who rise up and commit spiritual idolatry, they're going to rise up and go a-whoring after other elves of the strangers of the land. Right? Whether they go to be among and will forsake me and break my covenant which I have made with them. Right? Ezra is called to warn the people. Right? See, because you gotta understand that Yahuwah delivered them. Right? From these elves because they cried to him. Right? Yahuwah delivered them. Right? But yet they turn back to these elves. Right? Elves similar to what they experienced in the Mitzrayim. Elves. Right? Strangers of the lands that they went into. The elves. Right? And they literally fell into bondage. Only because, they served the elves of these people. By consequence, in their rebellion to Yahuwah, they were going to fall back under the captivity of these people. Right? They served the El of Babel. They went into captivity under Babylon. They were assimilated into the culture of the people of Babylon. They became ingrained and embedded in Babylon. Right? Assimilated. Right? Absorbed in. It's supposed to be the people of Yahuwah. He took people from Yahuwah from Mitzrayim. Took his people. The people wanted nothing else. They wanted to be like the other nations. They even wanted a king like the other nations. They had Yahuwah too. They had judges. Right? They had elders. Right? But they wanted a king like the other nations. Our people was a rebellious and stiff-necked people. Right? A people that was destined to fulfill the judgment of Yahuwah because they was stiff-necked, hard-headed, just didn't want to do right. Right? We left off in Ezra 31st verse. Right? We're going to look at the 27th verse before we get into the 31st verse. We're going to read down. Right? Ezra was the prophet that was called to declare the word to the people of Israel. Excuse me. He was the man of Yahuwah that he had chosen to live out the captivity in Babylon. And declare to the people, right? The captivity, and declare to them what Yahuwah's intentions were, right? Ezra, first chapter, second chapter, began to warn the people. But the people didn't receive it. They consider what he said as nothing. They loved their Babel. They loved their L's. Right? They despised Yahuwah's Torah. Right? They didn't keep it. Right? Ezra was the man to declare Yahuwah's word. You're going to come into captivity. You're going to be forsaken, robbed, spoiled. You're going to be in confusion. Right? Disarray. No order. Right? And in being in this captivity 30 years, even though he was informed of Yahuwah, what Yahuwah's intentions were in terms of the captivity of the nation, Ezra was down in his bed looking up and thinking to himself, right? Questioning to himself, why Yahuwah had allowed his people to go under the dominion, the captivity of this wicked nation. See, he's had 30 years to walk in amongst these people, go out, come in, to and fro. And I see their wickedness. See their wickedness. Right? And he's questioning Yahuwah as to why Yahuwah allow wicked people to have his people in captivity. But, you know, he had already told Ezra that, you know, his people were going to go in confusion. They was going to be robbed and spoiled. He was going to give their house to another people. He was going to go to the other nations because Yaakov and Yehudah didn't keep his commandments. He knew that it was the responsibility of the people of Yahuwah to walk before Yahuwah and be holy. But you know, he just couldn't understand his reasoning, right? In his self-talk, in his heart, you know. Why Yahuwah, you know, let his people suffer at the hands of wicked people. 30 years later. Right? And of course, Yahuwah, you know, being the allure that he is, him loving his prophets, recognizing their limitations, sent him out a king to him. You can answer these questions, and I got an answer for you. Couldn't answer the question. Gave him another scenario. Came up with an answer. The answer was satisfied. Malkin, he said, yeah, you answered well, but, you know, how come you can't see you? How come you can't see what you're requesting? How come you can't see your condition of your people? How can't you see that Yahuwah is justified? Yahuwah made him, right? So if he made him to raise him up to kill him, it's Yahuwah. Right? And he goes on. Ask some more questions. The angel goes on to explain some more things to him. But we're at the 27th verse, right? He says, among all the multitude of the people, thou hast gotten thee one people. Right? Yahuwah. Yahuwah has one people. Right? Right. Yasharal, Yahuwah. Right? But the one people that Yahuwah has now is made up of those that he has chosen from the other nations, those that he has grafted in, right? And the nation who he has brought to life again. He's renewed a covenant with them. You has reestablished a connection. He's put his ruach in. Those who were once dead in trespasses and sins. Right? Those who were confused. Those who were forsaken. Right? Those who the nation had conspired against to hide the name. Right? To cut off Yasharal from being a people, a nation. Right? These people have woken up. There's a shaking. Bones are coming together. Sinew is coming together. Skin is coming together, but yet they're still dead. Right? Until Yahuwah's Ruach HaKodesh comes in, right? Because, you have to be born again. Water, the Ruach HaKodesh. You have to receive the water, the blood, the Ruach HaKodesh. Right? He says, among all the people, multitudes of nations, thou hast gotten thee one people. Now Ezra is speaking solely of the nation of Israel, because he's still in his feelings, right? Yahuwah could never choose Babylon. Could never choose from amongst Babylon a people, individuals to receive Yeshua. He could never do that. Chosen one people, it's Jacob. But yet you were prophesied and said, listen, I'm going to go to the nations. Go to the other nations. They're going to believe me. They're going to receive my word. The other nations are going to bear witness. They're going to receive it. They're going to repent. And they're going to turn to faith in the Mashiach. They're going to receive the name. Right? He says, unto a people thou lovest, and thou gavest the Torah that is approved of all. You've given the Torah to the people of Yaakov and Yehuda. Yes, Yahuwah came to his own. Yahushua, he came to his own. His own to receive him. But as many as did, there was a remnant that did. He gave them power. They received the Ruach HaKodesh. They became the witnesses to the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. They told people that they had to be born again. They baptized people and laid hands on people that they would receive Yahuwah's Ruach HaKodesh. It's that remnant. They went to the other nations. Peter first to the other nations. Cornelius' house. The whole house is filled with the Ruach. All those Gentiles that was there. Peter and 6 other disciples bore witness to the Ruach HaKodesh falling on the Gentiles, the same as it did It's all about who will receive his witness. He says, 28. And now, O Adonai, why hast thou given this one people over to many? I gave them what they wanted. They wanted Babylon. They served their idols. They wanted what their idols provided. I gave them to them. Let them have it. They became subject to Babylon, Baal worship. They were offering up their children. Solomon had married these foreign wives. He gave the temple, gave them room to serve their idols, their priests. He gave them places to establish a set of their idols in the city of YAHUAH, the gates, groves. He's given them unto a people whom they wanted. They wanted to be like Babylon. They wanted to worship like the other elves. They wanted to worship the other elves. Okay, I'm going to give them back to you. Because when you go to them, they going to hate you. See, it's going to always lead to captivity. When you begin to serve these elves, it always leads to captivity. We put our kids into captivity of these elves. And then we bow down and worship them. Bring our kids up, devoting them to these elves. Committing them to these elves. Putting them into the priest's hands of these elves, these coaches. Training our kids to be guardians of this hell. Develop these elves. We give them to them. You'll stop just going at you. Give you back what you had. See, you know what? When you was giving out the curses, you was giving out the curses because that's just what's going to happen, right? You know, sometimes when you think of the curses, you think of an angry YAHUAH, you know, just slamming down, right, on his people. Right? Yeah, he's angry, right? But you know what he does? He just gives you what you want. But oftentimes what you want is never what you need. Right? You want to serve the elders of these other nations, but you really don't need them. Right? But when you love them more than you love YAHUAH, then he gives you everything that they have to offer. He gives you their bondage. He gives you their contracts. He gives you their contracts. You play for me and and you'll do A, B, C, and D. You need the contracts. And then you'll be a true worshiper. You may even be allowed to be worshipped. Listen, a people that are wicked, falling into the hands of the else they serve. This comes as a result of the curse. Right? But, you know, truth be told, you serve the else. Right? Sacrifice unto these owls. Right? The people of these owls. Right? They own you. They own you. They can ruin you. He says, and now, O Yahuwah, thou hast given this people over unto many, right? Because you scattered them amongst the other nations, right? Upon whom one root has thou prepared others. And why hast thou scattered thy only one people amongst so many? Operating was that one man. His seed shall be mighty in the earth. It's one man, right? He's prepared a people. YAHUAH, right? Yaakov, he's written his name down. It's one people, right? Why hast thou scattered thy one people among so many? Gave you what you wanted. Oh, we just wanted to serve the else. We wanted to remain in Jerusalem. No, but that's my land. That's the land I prepared for your fathers for righteousness. And Jerusalem is where I had my temple. You can't serve two masters. You gotta love one and hate the other. It's not possible to serve Yahuwah and Baal. You can't serve Baal and love me, Yahuwah. There's a captivity that has to come. You know, because they hate you. They conspired against you. They're trying to cut you off from being a people. See, I would always have your enemies come up against you one way and flee before you 7 ways. But see, it's not going to be that way with you serving their house. That hell that you put so much confidence in, you don't go out before them one way, you're going to be fleeing from them 7 ways. They're going to put you in captivity. They're going to put your children in captivity. Right? But you made that choice. See, and you know, when I delivered you out of Mitzrayim as a people, you know, I gave you the contract. Told you what would happen. Right? Because it's just a natural progression of things. Right? Yahuwah knew and understood the natural progression of things. He knows when wickedness is going to come to the full. Yahuwah knows when wickedness is going to come to the full. Listen. He says, and why hast thou scattered thine only people from among the nations, amongst the many? And they which did gainsay your promise, made fun of your promise, and believe not thy covenant, have trodden them down. Yeah, but you aren't a people, because you've forsaken Yahuwah. You're not a people. You're robbed and spoiled. You're not a people. He says that when trodden down, it was going to happen. The nations were going to do this to you. Now you got to imagine that, right? Yahuwah delivered the children of Israel with a mighty hand out of Mitzrayim and wiped Mitzrayim out. Right? The knowledge of that went out to the world. Did you hear about the YAHUAH of the children of Israel, the Hebrews, who destroyed Pharaoh with plagues? What? Yahuwah's people? Oh man, they marched after 40 years and across the Jordan, and they took all the nations and took the lands and wiped everybody out. Their El, man, their El is he's a living YAHUAH. Can you imagine now that they understand this El, they conspired? They conspired against Yahuwah and his people. Let's cut them off from being a people. Let's get them serving our L's. Them forsake that El they have. All they got to do is just put another El before him. All they have to do is submit themselves to our L's. And then they won't have their El. We can wipe them out. We can trodden them down. We can spoil their goods. They got the end. Babylon moved on Jerusalem. Pushed right past those groves. Pushed right past those L's in the city gates. Pushed their way into the tabernacle. Took all the gold and the silver right past the L's of the other nations, their L's. Right? They did gainsay that promise. They gained from the promise. Right? And believe not thy covenant. They didn't believe the covenant. Right? And have trodden them down, your people. Right? He says here, if thou did so much as hate thy people, yet shouldest thou punish them with thine own hands. You hate your people so much. Why ain't you punishing them with your own hands? Why you letting these other nations do it? You love your people. Why you ain't doing it? Because they ain't my people no more. They've been robbed and spoiled. See, my people are they which are called by my name. See? And they just have to humble themselves to pray. Seek me, my Torah. Turn from their wicked ways. Then I shall hear from the Shamim, I'll forgive their sins and heal their lands, right? See, as a nation, they did that. Their captivity only lasted 70 years at that time. Right? Right? That captivity lasted for 70 years, but you know what? They did good for maybe 40, 50 years, 60 years after that. Once they got out, rebuilt Jerusalem, the walls, the gates, everything. Just a matter of time. Alexander the Great came in, wiped out Persia, right? Moved forward the Hellenistic period. Brews were becoming Hellenized. Yahushua took the power of the keys of death and hell, right? But you got Hebrews becoming Hellenized. Hellenized. Yahushua came to restore people, to establish a dominion forever. Bringing us into the last days, winding us down to wickedness, and it's coming to a full. Hasatan amped it up. Titus Vespasian marched into Jerusalem, took the Sefer, took the Bible, took everything that they had in there, took everything, manuscripts, took it all, burnt it to the ground. People who listened to Yahushua fled into the interiors of Africa. Over a million, 3 million Jews escaped, right, to the interior of Africa. The rest went captive. Some of them were killed and massacred. But Yahuwah has established his dominion. But again, it hadn't become darkened. Wickedness has to come to the full, right? Yahushua is going to destroy this again. But it's got to come to the full. And listen. When we see wickedness in ways, shapes, and forms that we have seen it, right? But it's not to the full. It's getting there. Working hard to it, right? He says, how come you didn't punish them with your own hands, you? You don't love them? They're your people. You hate them so much that you're going to leave them in the hands of the other nations? See now, Yahuwah says enough is enough. And now when I had spoken these words, a Malachim that came to me the night before, he was sent back unto me. Came to me the night before, picked me up, comforted me. I was weak. Came, comfort me. He said he came before me and said unto me, hear me now. You need to listen to me now. Yahuwah hears what you're his prophet. He hears you. But listen, you hear me now, right? And I will instruct thee. Hearken to the things that I say, and I will tell you more. Right? And I said, speak on, my Adonai. Then said he unto me, thou art so troubled in mind for Israel's sake. So troubled in mind for Israel's sake. Right? 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 Lovest thou the people better than he that made them? You love Yahuwah's people. I mean, you say that I hate my people. Right? Right. He said, if thou didst so much hate thy people. Right? So you think you love Yahuwah's people more than he created them? Right. Answer now. Do you think that you love Yahuwah's people more than he does? You know, because he wrote their name in the Shaman. You think. Right. You love Yahuwah's people more than he does. Right? And he says, no, Adonai, but a very grief have I spoken. In my emotions, I just feel a certain way about the nation. Right? And sometimes, we can feel about somebody or something so much and be hurt and grieved by them, but not be justified. It's not just to. He says, for my reins pain me every hour, while I labor to understand the way of the Most High and to seek out part of his judgment. What? Wait a minute. What? Listen, son of Adam, right? You're a mere man, right? You trying to discern why Yahuwah proceeds with the judgments and the decisions that he makes. You are on the earth. Yahuwah is in the Shamayim. You don't even function in the same capacity as Yahuwah does. We don't even question Yahuwah. Right. He said, listen. For the range that controls these things, this heart, this grief, right? It steers me, right? It's pain every hour. It steers me. I'm painfully lamenting the nation's conditions because I see the wickedness of these people that have conspired against them. Pains me. He says, and I labor every hour to try to understand. I try with everything that is in me to understand what Yahuwah's doing. Why has he allowed the people that he's loved to be under the dominion, the captivity of these wicked heathens? Listen. Make no mistake about it, your heart can deceive you. It can deceive you. That's why you need the Ruach HaKodesh of truth to lead you and guide you to all truth. Because your heart without the Ruach HaKodesh will deceive you. Cause you to miss it. Cause you not to see things for what they are. Right? Right? He says, while I labor to comprehend the way, Torah is the way. Psalm 119:1, right? Blessed, right? Psalm 119:1. Blessed, right? Blessed, right? Hebrew.
Strong's H835. Esher.
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 Right. It means happy. Not grieved, but happy. Right? Happy. Right? Now happy. Happy. Right? Joyful. Happy. Right? Are the undefiled. The opposite of undefiled is defiled. Right? To be defiled is to be sinful. Right? To be a sinful or sinner, right, is to break Torah. Right? 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 So, in the breaking of Torah, right, there's the opposite of blessed or happy. Mad, sad, right? Undefiled. Sin, right? He said, but blessed are the undefiled. Undefiled. Not the defiled. Defiled. Not the sinner. Not those who are practicing and participating in sin. But blessed are the undefiled that are not. Right? In the way. Right? Blessed are the undefiled in the way. What's the way? Who walk in the Torah of YAHUAH. So, those who walk in the Torah of YAHUAH are the blessed in the way. In order to be blessed, right, you have to be in the way. In order to be in the way, you have to be in Torah. Because Torah is the way. But he says here, right? He says, I labor to comprehend the way, right, of the Most High. The way of the Most High is to be undefiled and keeping Torah. The way is to be undefiled and keeping Torah. That's the way of Yahuwah. The way is I am Yahuwah thy Eluah that brought thee out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage, right? The way, right? Thou shalt have no other else before me. That's Torah, keeping Torah. The way. Thou shalt not make any graven images or any likeness of anything in the Shamaim above, or that in the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow thyself down, nor serve them. For I am Yahuwah thy Eluah, and a jealous Eluah, visiting the iniquities of the fathers unto the children, to the third and fourth generation of them that love me. The way, right? Right? I show mercies unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. Keep the way. This is my way, right? Yahusha is the way, the truth, and the life, right? Yahusha is the way, the truth, and the life. Listen, he says, listen, right? This is the way, right? If thou shalt not take Yahuwah thy Eluah's name in vain. That's the way of Yahuwah. Right? For Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Right? If you take his name in vain, you are not in his way. Right? Actually, you're in his way. He will remove you from his way. Listen. He says, remember the Shabbat and keep its holy. That's the way of Yahuwah, right? 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is a Shabbat unto Yahuwah thy Eluah. And in it thou shalt do not any work, nor thy sons, nor thy daughters, nor thy servants, nor thy manservants, nor thy cattle, nor thy strangers within thy gates. 6 days. For in 6 days Yahuwah thy Eluah made the heavens and the earths and the seas and all of them that are therein, and rested on the 7th day. Therefore, wherefore Yahuwah hallowed, Yahuwah Kodesh, the Shabbat day, and hallowed it. Right? The way. Honor thy father and thy mother. That's the way of Yahuwah. Right? And that thy days may be long upon the land that Yahuwah thy Lord gives thee. That's the way of Yahuwah. Right? Thou shalt not kill. That's the way of Yahuwah. Thou shalt not commit adultery. That's the way of Yahuwah. Thou shalt not steal. That's the way of Yahuwah. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. That's the way of Yahuwah. Thou shalt not cover thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor the things that belong to him. Because that's the way of Yahuwah. Right? All these things. Okay, yeah, we're going to stop there at that point, right? That's the way, right? Now, no, that's not one of them. What's the one? This one. Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the Torah of Eluah, because the Torah Eluah is the way, right? Now Ezra, because he's in his feelings now. He's in his feelings, right? He's He's lost contact. He's in his feelings, right? He says, while I labor to comprehend the way of the Most High, labor to know the way of the Most High. The defiled, the undefiled in the way are those who keep the Torah. The way of the Most High is to keep Torah. The people of Yahuwah are in bondage because they didn't keep Torah. Yahuwah had to give the land a Shabbat from the wickedness. Burned it to the ground. Had to be rebuilt. 70 years. Ezra. 30 years. Get out of here! Go lay down! Sorry, dog. I can tell she over there digging up rocks. We digging holes around the house. He said, listen, Ezra. Ezra says, and to seek out part of his judgment. Seek out part of his judgment. What? Yahuwah judge according to Torah. Yahuwah's judgments are righteous because Yahuwah is only going to judge from Torah. Listen. And he said unto me, the angel, thou canst not. You can't understand Yahushua's judgments. Right? All you can know is to do what Yahuwah's word says. You can't understand. You ain't gonna understand. You can't comprehend his rationale. But you know what you have to do. Right? He says, listen. He said unto me, thou canst not. And I said, wherefore, Adonai? Whereunto was I born then? Why was not my mother's womb then my grave? That I might not have seen the travail of Yaakov and the wearisomeness toil of the stock of Yasharah. Here's Ezra challenging his existence based on his understanding of being a natural man on the earth. Somehow comparing what he doesn't understand to what he should understand, which only exists in the mind of Yahuwah and the Shamayim. You can't understand it, Ezra. You was born to keep Torah. You was born to serve Yahuwah by obeying his laws, statutes, and commandments. Yisrael was born, right? Yahuwah's firstborn, to keep his Shava'os and to keep his commandments, right? That's what you were born to do. You were in your mother's womb for this hour to come forth to be a prophet, to this people and to warn and to record and to document so that this people would understand and the people to come would understand what befalls them. You were brought forth because I had willed it. You will never understand my motivations. But what you will be is blessed if you remain undefiled in the way. You will be blessed if you walk after the Torah of YAHUAH. Right? Because he will show mercies unto thousands of them that love him and keep his commandments. See, you understand that you can't understand this judgment of YAHUAH. Right? See, in your own mind, you think because you don't understand, you have no purpose. But I would submit to you, because you don't understand, you are a perfect person to be used. Because all you have to do is do what I tell you to do. Say what I tell you to say. And you fulfill the purpose that I've given you. Right? And if you obey me, guess what? You blessed. This people obey me. They're blessed. Right? He says this. He says, that I might not have seen the travail of Jacob and the weariness told. Listen. This had to happen. Right? Because, YAHUAH has to judge his people's wickedness first. Right? See, and for some, 2,000 years, right, YAHUAH's people have been suffering, right, robbed and spoiled. Forsaken, in confusion. Right? Because they had to come down first. And now that his people are coming together, waking up, understanding the necessity of the witness of Yahushua Mashiach, receiving the Ruach and that's the water of the blood, being baptized of the water and Ruach HaKodesh. This thing that is moving to the full. Because Israel, Yahshua, they had to experience it first. This suffering, the other nations starting to be dealt out their bits of this tribulation. They're about to see before their eyes, they're witnessing it. These floods, these tornadoes, these hurricanes, these volcanoes, this heat, these fires springing up. Flash floods, this natural destruction, they want to call it global warming, but it's the judgment of YAHUAH. And YAHUAH's going to melt them solar ice caps. Yeah, they're going to start falling off into them. You have to witness this, Ezra. You have to cry loud and spare not. You have to tell your people that they must repent and receive the witness. See, that's what he told me, Jacob, to do. I got to do this. got to tell you, you ain't going to make it without the witness of Yahushua. You ain't going to make it without the Ruach. He says, and he said unto me, number me the things that are not yet to come. Ezra. Right? Gather me together the drops that are scattered abroad, Ezra. Make me the flowers green again that are withered, Ezra. See, you know, he's really being nice to Ezra. He's challenging Ezra's thought process. Because Ezra, you know, Ezra's just, why? Right? He said, Ezra, you think you want to know everything? Right? Right? Number me the things that have come, that are yet to come. And open me the places that are closed. Open the places to me that are closed. Those things that I've reserved in chains. Those things that are locked up. Open them doors. Those ways that I've locked. Open it up. Open me the places that are closed, and bring me forth the winds that are shut up. Show me the image of a voice. And then, and only then, right, will I declare to thee the things that thou laborest to know. Right? Things you clamoring over. Right? Right? These things that you're laboring to comprehend. Right? These ways of the Most High. Listen, the only way of the Most High you need to know is you need to keep Torah. You need to know the way of keeping Torah. You need to know the way of having faith in the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. You know, it's kind of weird. People get so preoccupied in trying to understand and figure out the things that Yahuwah is doing. All you need to do is keep Yahuwah's Torah. Keep yourself unspotted from the world. Come out from among Babylon and be separate. And be led by the Ruach HaKodesh. I ain't trying to figure out what the mark of the beast is. I'm not trying to figure out when he's going to take us out. I'm just living every day, crying loud and sparing not, and being a witness to the witness of Yahushua. Right? That's all I'm doing. I still got stuff I got to do for you. Right? Listen, right? Consider this. Right? Consider this. Yahuwah is waking up his people. Right? In the Americas, you know, you understand who we are as a people. That's just America. Right? Europe, yeah, Europe, we know. Right? In the land of Yahuwah, on the continent, right? They don't even know. They know they're Israel, but they don't know that they need to witness in order to really be Israel. They worshiping elves of their Ruach, ancestors. The gods of their ancestors. Now, if they're talking about the Yahuwah of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, okay, yeah. But not Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. I ain't worshiping Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, and I'm not making requests of them of anything. I'm asking Yahuwah, and by his Ruach HaKodesh, trusting his Ruach to lead me. Right? You got people in contact that need to be awakened. Right? We got people in the Americas think we understand more than and understand the continent better than the continent. We think we understand the traditions of Yahuwah better than what else I should he do. We think we understand in these Americas the traditions of Yahuwah better than the people who Yahuwah has chosen on the continent. I think we understand things better than they do. And to a degree, Yahuwah has waken up Yehuda. Right? But what Yehuda's doing do? Wake up the continent. They wait for us to come back to do what? To return. To do what? To set up camp and live there? Just to live? No, to wake up the nation. Our people robbed and spoiled on the continent by these other nations, right? Our people on the continent, right? Robbed and spoiled by their own people, killing their own people, blood on their own hands. So I'm not going to show you nothing, Ezra. Because you can't answer this. Right? He says, and I said, O Adonai that bears rule, who may know these things? But he that haveth not his dwelling with men. Right, of course. That's the point, Ezra. That's the point. That's the point that's being made. People are in bondage because of their sin. You are here because I have you as a mouthpiece in the midst of them to cry louder and to spare not, to lift up your voice. They didn't consider what you said as nothing. They despise Yahuwah's commandments. He says, and I said, behold, O Yahuwah, yet art thou nigh unto them that reserved to the end. And what shall they do that have been before me, or we that be now, or they that shall come after us? Right? He says, as for me, I am why I'm why. Wait. Where did how did I jump down like that? Let me see. What is this? He says, well, I read that. 38. And I said, lo, that beareth rule, who may know these things? Right. Okay. He says, verse 39, as for me, I am unwise. Right? How may I then speak of these things whereof thou ask me? Right? And I said, behold, O Adonai, yet art thou nigh unto them that be reserved till the end. You are near them that are in reserve, right? Those who have passed but are yet in reserve, right? Right. Until the end. Those that have died in Yahuwah. Those that are reserved, right? Till the end. He said, then what shall they do that have been before me? Right? Or we that be now? Or they that shall come after us? What's going to happen to us? You know what's going to happen to those who are yet to come, but what about those who have come before me, and those who are here now during our time, and those who are yet to come? Right? He says, and he said unto me, I will liken my judgment into a ring, like as there is no slack of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first. And he said to me, liken judgment is a ring. Right? A ring. Even a wheel. A ring. Right? Circular. A ring is closed. Right? A ring. Right? He said, liken it as a ring. Right? Judgment. Judgment is continual. It's continual. It's perpetual. Right? And there is no slack of the last. Right? It's just a ring. It continues to move around at the established diameter. Right? Right? Not giving any slack, just moving continually. Right? Right? He says, even so there is no swiftness of the first. So as you move around the ring, there's nothing, there is no, it's a continual, even, perpetual movement. Right? It's an evil, continual, perpetual movement. Equal. Continue. Perpetual movement. Right? He says, so I answered and said, could thou not make those that have been made and now and be now, and that are for to come at once, that thou mightest show thy judgment to be sooner? Can't you speed this up, you? Can't you make it come quicker? You know, see, Ezra is still in his 30 years. Right? He doesn't see the big picture. All he sees is what they're in now. Excuse me, all he sees is what they're in now. He sees the wickedness that they're in now. He sees the suffering that his people are suffering now. He sees that, and he wants to move it along. Want you to hurry up. We have been in the lands of our captivity for 400 years in the Americas. We've been in Spain, right? Spain. We've been in the interiors of Africa, right? We're talking almost 2,000 years, right? Of being a people who have been robbed and spoiled. Yeah, we last 400 years in America, but people robbed and spoiled. Okay? Yahuwah's going to do a quick work with the judgment that he brings on the nations. His judgment is circular. It's a ring. It's continual, right? It's equal, right? It moves consistently. You was never in a rush. He's never in a hurry. All things will happen. For him, they've already happened. He already knows what's going to happen, right? He says, then said he unto me, like as thou canst done none of these things that I have spoken of, even so canst thou not find out my judgments. Right? Or the end, the love that I have promised to my people. You're going to figure this out. Yahuwah has set us up so where we can be sons and daughters. If we receive his witness, right? Get the earnest, the seal, the Ruach HaKodesh, a promise, the exceeding greatness of his power in us, who received the witness, Yahudim first, and Gentiles. He says, and I said, behold, I, Adonai, yet art thou nigh unto them that be reserved till the end. Right? That skipped 40. Right? And what shall they do that have been before me? What they gonna do? Right? Or we that be now, or they that shall come after us. Right? It said unto me, it's like one, I will liken my judgment unto a ring. Right? Like as there's no slackness of the last, right? Even if there no swiftness of the first, right? He who had judged the arrests in the same manner before. I mean, he sent a deluge, but this time he's going to bring fire. The Great Tribulation. Right? And only those who are in the witness are in the ark. Only those that are in the witness are in the ark. Only those that are in the witness are in the ark. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, we the people of book broadcast. It's going down. We didn't finish, but YAHUAH was still working this thing. Listen. I yell for YAHUAH. I love YAHUAH. And you know what? I'm grateful to him because he reveals to me more and more and more and more. See, I've never been concerned about knowing why YAHUAH does what he does. I've always been satisfied in doing what he said. And knowing that if I do what he says, then what he says would come as a result of that is all I needed to know. I love YAHUAH. I love YAHUAH. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, listen. This is about YAHUAH. Hezekiah, free brew. We're going to start that from the beginning. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, we the people book broadcast is going down. YAHUAH's been good to us. All praises to the Most High, YAHUAH. YAHUAH, I pray right now in the name of Yahushua Mashiach for the words that you have given me to give to them, that they would in fact keep them, receive them, obey them, live by them, and do them. YAHUAH, I love you. YAHUAH, I praise you. YAHUAH, I glorify you. YAHUAH, I magnify you. YAHUAH, I pray in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach that your word would come alive in those who have an ear to hear. Again, YAHUAH, I just desire that you would speak through me, that from my belly would flow rivers of living water. YAHUAH, your Ruach HaKodesh of truth. YAHUAH, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable unto thee in thy sight. On this your Shabbat, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, I pray. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, we the people of book broadcast going down on this Shabbat. I magnify and worship YAHUAH because he is worthy. I give him praise for Yahushua HaMashiach, my high priest forever, which he has sworn and will not repent. Yahushua HaMashiach, my Lamb of YAHUAH, that taketh away the sins of the world. Yahushua HaMashiach, I give you praise. Man of Yah called the greatness, woman of YAHUAH called the greatness. Woman of YAHUAH, beautifully and wonderfully made today, YAHUAH's favored you. We praise YAHUAH for his Shabbat. It's gone down. So with that I say on this Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Hallelujah. Be blessed.
Torah Garden, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.